We are back on the trails today, doing a 6-hour run today. So I'll probably get about 30 miles or so. And I've been thinking to myself, maybe I should share how you become a pacer. And like, what is a pacer? Because I've made a couple videos, and I really don't ever see that many videos from a pacer perspective. And I've never seen anybody talk about how you become a pacer, or like what you do, or what perks you get, or any of that kind of stuff. This one's going to be only about pacing marathons, not trails. That's a whole different beast. Check out the hat, Ultra Runner magazine. I got that Western States. It's a cool 40 degrees or so, 43, and it is windy. That's why I like running the forest, because you're out of the wind. Okay, let's just start with the easy one. What is a pacer? What do they do? Well, it's pretty simple. We keep a steady pace for the whole marathon, and we have a set goal to finish. And I've done everything from 3:05 to 3:30 for pacing, and I'll hold a sign that'll say 3:25, and that's my finish goal time. And we're supposed to finish about a minute under, never over. So my goal as a 3:25er would be maybe 3:24, and ideally the perfect day you're coming in at 3:24:30. So you give yourself just a little bit, but to nail that time, you're like landing an airplane on a runway. So you got to hit everything just right. You got to watch your pace every mile. But my goal is even splits and hit that time. That is my number one priority. Just even splits, steady pace. Don't speed up, don't bank time. Don't hammer it at the end to try and make up time you lost. So you're gonna see me at the start line. I'm gonna be holding a sign of some sort that has my time on it. I'll have a pacer singlet or a shirt, and you'll know it's me. And then you want to line up next to me, and I'll say hi and ask you about your goals. If you're a first timer, qualify for a race, Boston, New York, whatever it might be, and I'll get to know you. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to remember your names, so I'm going to refer to you as the guy with the blue hat, or the girl with the red shirt, or something like that. But by the end of the race, I might remember your names. So, and I've kept in touch with a lot of people that I paced, got them to Boston or a personal best or something like that. So it's always fun meeting new people, making new friends. Ooh, this is one of my favorite spots. I just like the view of these trees. They're just lined up perfectly. Anyways, some of the other things we'll do during the race is we're gonna motivate you, we're gonna talk to you, occupy your mind. A good pacer is one that talks. Now I talk a lot, and it's probably annoying. And you're gonna be like, man, this guy never stops talking, he tells stories. But when I'm at mile 5, and you're like, whoa, we're at 5 already? I thought we just started. We're at mile 20, and you're like, holy crap, we only have 10K to go. You're gonna be thanking me, because you're not bored, you're not so worried about the race, you're just focused on running, and I'm just kind of distracting you, taking your mind off of the stress, the pain, the wind, whatever it is out there that's making the day tough for you. Maybe you're just not having a good day. I'm gonna try and tell you a story to cheer you up, or I'm gonna tell you about an experience I had that'll motivate you. Whatever I can do to help you get to the finish line. I'm gonna call out at every mile my splits. So mile 1, I'm gonna say we need to be at 7:25. We are at 7:23. We are 2 seconds ahead. Mile 2, say we need to be at 14 minutes. We are at 13:58. We are 2 seconds ahead. I'm gonna do that every single mile, all the way through the race. That way, you don't have to look at your watch and worry about pace, worry about what mile we're at, worry about anything. All you need to do is run. You've trained for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. All you need to do is just put it all together and go. I will do everything else. I will keep track of our pace. I will keep you on target. I will keep you motivated. and I would tell you about what's coming up. I'll tell you where the aid stations are. I will tell you where the bathrooms are. I would tell you what hills are coming up. Especially if I've done the course like Des Moines multiple times and I know the course really well, I'm gonna give you a heads up. I'm gonna tell you if it's gonna be congested on a turn, and I'm gonna tell you when the turns are coming up. So lots of information. Anything I can do to make it easier for you. And then probably the most important part is gonna be the finish. Those last 3 miles, 2 miles, really the last mile. That's where, I mean, if you're new, first timer, third timer, I mean, you could be a seasoned veteran having a bad day, windy, hot, whatever the conditions are, those last couple miles can just be brutal. You're just like, I'm so close, but it feels like I have an hour to go. That's where I step in. I'm gonna be yelling at you in a nice way, in a comforting, loving way, but I'm gonna be getting on you. I'm like, stick with it, come on, let's go. And I'm gonna keep you going. And if you can stay with me, we're gonna finish together. And I'm gonna do everything I can to help you. But here's the honest facts. The hard truth is, I'm gonna come to the start line and there's gonna be 30 runners all excited to see me. They'll be like, yeah, my goal is 320. I need 320 to get a personal best. I'm so excited. I'm like, all right, let's go. Follow me. Mile 10, I have about 15 people. Mile 15, I have 8. Mile 20, I have 1. As soon as I hit mile 20, every single race, I'll have 20 people, 15 people. In Chicago, I have 50, 60. But whatever reason, everybody hits that wall, and it's usually training. It's usually training. They didn't do the long miles or something, or they're just having a bad day. Whew, that's a big hill. I should walk this. But some reason I hit mile 20, and I go from 20, and you'll see it on my videos. I do it every video. I show every mile and the people behind me for this reason. Mile 20, 21, I'll have 5 people, 6 people, 10 people, and then boom, 1, none. I finished the last 6 miles of marathons with nobody, just me, but then I'm picking up people along the way. I'm trying to motivate them to get them back on track. They're fading, and they don't realize they're running slow because they're alone, so I come up behind them and I'm like, let's go. And we might run 3 miles together, see how long they can hold on. So that's probably one of the bigger, more exciting parts of being a pacer is the end. Getting people to push through their pain, trying to get through those difficult miles or push through the wall at mile 20. But if you put in those long runs, the 20s, you know, the 22 milers leading up to it, then you should be good. But I always say do at least 2 20 milers and preferably a 20 and a 22. Push through that wall at least once so you know what it feels like. So if you do that, you have a pretty good shot of holding on. Because once you get to 22, you basically got a 5K left. Things are starting to green up. A couple weeks, and it's gonna be all green, real thick. Wind's gonna be blocked. It's gonna be awesome. Let's talk about how you become a pacer. It's pretty simple. There's only a couple things you need to do. 1, run a marathon. If you can run a marathon, you can pace. The trick is, if your personal best is 3 hours, you're a pretty good runner, you're fast, then you're gonna wanna pace 3:15, 3:20, whatever feels easy to you. Ideally, a pacer should be 10 to 20 minutes slower than their race time. So 3 hours, maybe a 3:10, but 3:10 is gonna feel like racing, so you wanna go 3:15, 3:20. You can drop all the way down to 4 hours, it doesn't matter. Whatever feels comfortable to you. You don't wanna be out there running as fast as everybody else, huffing, puffing, stressing about your pace. You know, you shouldn't be gasping for air. You shouldn't be tired. You should be able to hold a conversation and talk to the fellow runners, answer questions, and yell at the crowd, whatever it is you need to do. It should be easy. Now, that said, I could be a little stiff and sore after pacing because it's a marathon, all right? Any marathon is hard. It doesn't matter how fast you go, how slow you go. a marathon's a marathon. You're gonna feel it at the end, but it's not gonna be as bad as when you race, where you're like stiff and sore for 3 days. After a pacing, you might not even notice you're sore. Maybe a day of rest, and you're fine. Okay, so now you know what you want to pace at. Now you got to find a marathon. Start local. Start with something simple. You know, like a 500, a 200, 1,000 person race. Something easy. Don't go shooting for the stars with Chicago, New York, or something like that. Those are, you got to know somebody, and you got to have a lot of experience to get into those. So once you're in, you're golden. But getting in is super hard. So just keep it realistic. Find some local marathon. Find a 5K, find a 10K, find a half marathon. Get some experience, build up a little resume. And you're gonna probably make a few mistakes along the way, but that's okay. You're there to help out, do your best. So how do you find those races? Well, simply just go to the websites of the race, find something. Like for me, I live about 2 hours away from Des Moines. So what I did was I just brought up their website one day and I said, do they have pacers? And they do. And I went to their pacing page and there was a contact there. And so I just emailed the contact, the pace director, and I said, hey, I like to run marathons. Can I pace for you guys? I can do this pace. And they said, yes, we always need a pacer, especially in that early 3 hour to 3.5 hours, all the way even up to like 4 hours. But really those faster pacers are hard to come by because everybody wants to race. Not a lot of people want to pace. So I said, I can do 3:25. And they're like, yes, please. So I showed up, no experience, no idea what I needed to do. I've only ran with a pacer at that time once. And that pacer helped me qualify for my first Boston. So what I want to do is get back and be a pacer for somebody else and do the same thing. Help them achieve their goals. And I show up and I didn't know any real tips or anything, like advice. I didn't know if I was supposed to talk, not talk. And then after a couple times of pacing, I got to figure it out. So get some experience, but just go to whatever race you want to do. Email the race director or maybe a pace contact and see if they have any openings. And if they don't, what they sometimes have is like they might have a need for a half marathon pacer, or if they have a full spot, they might have an injury and need a backup, or they might even split a marathon between two people. Somebody runs the first half, somebody runs the second half. There's a lot of options. So, and there's a lot of people who they get injured or a wedding comes up or something and they have to drop out and they always need a sub. On somebody's radar, they might give you a call out of the blue in a week or 2 weeks like I did for Fargo. And they're like, hey, can you fill in? I'm like, sure. So that's always fun. But yeah, just go scouting around. If there's a race that you've been having trouble getting into, something that sells out fast, maybe try and be a pacer. And then that way you get to experience the race. You get credit for running the race. And we'll get to the next part. It'll be the perks of being a pacer. Perks of being a pacer. Well, there's the giving back to the running community, helping others. That's the best, I tell you. When you come to the finish line and people are coming up to you saying thank you or telling you about how great of a race they had, or that they got a PR, they qualified for something, or maybe they missed their goal, but they still had fun. And you were a part of that. And I didn't get them to the finish line. They did the training, they did the work. But I like to think that I helped out in some little way. And that is the best feeling. So I love getting a hug at the finish line. I'm not a hugger, but at the finish line, I love hugs. So a fist bump, a high five, a handshake, any kind of thing just to tell me that you had fun, you enjoyed the run, and maybe if all went well, you're going to sign up for another marathon. The look on their families' faces at the finish line when they cross the finish line and you're near them, and you just see the excitement or how proud they are. Oh, it's the best feeling, I tell you. The other perks is you always get at least a shirt or a singlet, like a tank top that'll say Pacer on it. Usually something with these, like a sponsor. We'll get it, Nike, Saucony, or a local run store will put together a pacer singlet for them. And so you get that, and you're always going to get a free entry. Those are guaranteed. And then some races, not a lot, it's kind of not something you see as much anymore because of funding and sponsorships and stuff, but sometimes you still get free hotels. It just varies. So like Chicago, we don't, we're on our own. So I stay with a friend. And Des Moines, we do get a hotel. But most races, you're pretty much paying for your own gas, your own airfare, your own food, your own hotel. So you're not in it for the money or anything like that. You're just there to help out. So that's why finding local races is kind of the best way to go. Something you can drive to, maybe do a overnight, one hotel night. But yeah, so that's kind of the downside, but at the same time, they make up for it in other ways. You might get a pre-race dinner for free. You might get some extra swag. You might get some freebie stuff from the expo. Like Chicago, the Skull headphones, they were just being nice. They just came over and gave everybody headphones who was pacing just to say thank you. So you never know what you're gonna get. So you might not get the hotel, but you might get a free pair of shoes, or you might get a jacket or some extra swag or something. So it all kind of works out in the end, where you feel like you got treated pretty well for giving up your race to help other people. But again, I'm not in it for any of the big swag or any of the big perks, although I do like to run for the t-shirts. Ooh boy, getting to the end of 6 hours. This is hard. Oh, I'm an endurance athlete. What am I complaining about? Another way of fighting marathons that I forgot about is word of mouth. If you're a pacer and you know somebody who loves to run and just a seasoned veteran, or somebody who's never paced before and has always been intrigued by it, just give them a heads up, tell them that this race needs a pacer, or I had fun at this race and they always need a pacer. This year they didn't have a 4-hour pacer. You should do that. Word of mouth, it goes a long ways for helping race directors or pace directors find runners. And especially like I said, the finding a sub at the last second, that's got to be so stressful for them, because they really want to be there for the runners, the race organizers. And with the hard times now for Boston, where they keep lowering them, that finding those faster pacers, where if somebody shows up and they're like, I need a 3:30 to qualify. Wait, my pacer's not here, they're injured, I'm on my own. I was really hoping to run with a pacer today. If I just got that 3:30. So word of mouth, or if you feel like you can help out, get out there. There's so many runners that could really use a good pacer. There are no silly questions when you're out running, but I've been asked, do you get paid to be a pacer? Nope, I've never gotten paid cash. The best you get is like the free entry, some compensation like that, but you never get money. So again, you're not in it for anything other than just helping fellow runners. Let's show you some trails so you don't have to look at my ugly face the whole time. Look how thick it is. A lot of tree damage. Look at these roots here. So going downhill full speed, don't want to catch these guys. All right, that said, what are some other benefits or some odds and ends that I've experienced as a pacer? Well, I was at, I think it was Des Moines Expo, and they wanted some of the pacers to talk about what it's like to be a pacer or their experience with the race, and answer some questions for runners, especially the first timers or people who are doing that marathon for the first time. So I got up and volunteered for a panel discussion, and I talked about what I do, my experience, and answered some questions, and that was a lot of fun. And this is from a guy, you wouldn't know for these videos, who doesn't like talking in big crowds and stuff. I'm getting better at it, and it took me a long time to get up the courage to make these videos. But when you talk about something you enjoy, something you have a passion for, it is so easy, and I loved it. I was having so much fun talking at the expo. I wish I could do it more often. Can't see it, it's so thick, but I'm going up to the top of that hill. Woodhill. Yeah, exactly. A lot of trees. One of the other things that you'll do as a pacer is you work the expo, and that's basically a meet and greet. You're just there to answer questions, maybe meet some of the people who are going to run with you the next day. They'll come up and they'll be like, hey, where's the 3:15 pacer? Is he going to be here today? And they're like, that's me. And then they're like, cool. And they'll start asking you questions like, are you going to do even splits? Or are you going to bank time? And I'm like, nope, even splits. Banking time is a no-no. We never do that. We don't want to go out too fast. We don't want to have to speed up at the end. Even splits. If you're feeling good, you can separate from me anytime you want. If you're not feeling good, you can slow down. I just kind of do a whole breakdown. And they're like, what's it like out there? It's supposed to be windy. It's going to rain tomorrow. And I'm like, well, if the wind's from this direction, you're good, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll give them kind of a rundown of the course. You're going to have a tailwind the last 3 miles to the finish line because of the wind. And they're like, oh, really? That's awesome. And then by the time they leave, they're like feeling comfortable. They're at ease. They're more confident about their goals. And they're also excited to run with me because they got to meet me and they know that I got a game plan and that I'm legit. So I'll be like, yeah, it's my 9th time pacing. I know this course really well. We'll be good. Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day. The wind's going to be non-existent. It's going to be overcast. We won't even need sunscreen. And they'll be like, this guy's awesome. I'm like, yeah. So that's another thing you have to do. Usually it's like an hour. Chicago's like 3 hours or something, but it flies by. Chicago's so much fun because you talk to thousands of people and they're from all over the world. So that's always fun. So just through here, where these trees come from. I was literally just through here. Going down the big black trail. This one's really steep. I love running, and that is why I pace, because I love running. Flying down this black trail. This is one of the harder trails. This is the black 204X. Cyclocross is what the X stands for. So, go right through there. All right, you know me. I'm not gonna give you the everything's roses and rainbows and unicorns kind of reviews every time. If I hate a race, I'll tell you. And because, I'm here to help you guys. I'm not here to can sometimes be as stressful as racing or more stressful because you're trying to hit a very specific target. I mean, you're like hitting that bullseye. And if you miss it by more than a minute, well, you kind of fail. But even pacers can get injured. We can get sick. So we're mortal too. We're out there. Like I said, it's a marathon. It's not easy. Every marathon's hard. We're going to do our best to hit our goal. But, we have to hit splits, like nail it every single time. And as a racer, you can kind of slow down, speed up. You can take off at the end. If you mess up and go out too fast, it's not a big deal. But as a pacer, if I go out too fast, I can make you guys blow up and wear you down too quickly. Or if I'm going too fast or too slow, I'm going to throw everybody off their pace. So there's a lot of pressure on us and a little bit of stress. But with experience, it gets easier and easier. So that's kind of the downside. And again, sometimes it's the finances. That's probably the only other downside to being a pacer is that you have to pay for maybe gas, hotel, airfare, whatever it is. But hopefully you have somebody you can stay with or maybe like carpool with or something like that. Kind of take a little burden off the finances. But at the same time, whoa, that was a little branch. But at the same time, one of the benefits on the finance side is if you can't afford a $200 marathon entry fee or $100 or something like that, and it's just down the street from you, a couple hour drive, then being a pacer is a great way to knock out, like, say your 50 states. If you're just there to like have the experience and you don't care about your finish time or any of that other stuff, then be a pacer, because you can go knock out all 50 states with a free entry, get some swag, have the experience, you get the finisher medal, you get all the benefits of a racer, you get all the swag they get, you get the bib numbers, you get the finish medals, you get everything a racer gets, and then sometimes even more stuff. Oh yeah, I was thinking, other perks and privileges you get, sometimes you get VIP privileges. So some races, you pay $125 for the race entry. But if you pay $200, you get to have your own bag drop. You get to start in a higher corral. You get some sort of privilege, some sort of a perk that you pay for. As a pacer, you get those benefits, not every time, but a lot of time they'll give you like access to a specific bag drop so you can get your clothes quicker after a race and not freeze. So yeah, especially fall marathons, even spring marathons. But when you're cold, a foil blanket only can do so much. But when you need to warm up and your sweatshirt and sweatpants are sitting right by the finish line, that is so worth it. It's a game changer. You don't think about it until the finish line, and then you're like shivering. I mean, uncontrollably shivering. And you're like, where's my clothes? How far is it to the hotel? Wait, hey, my clothes are right here. Sweet. So hopefully I can give you a quick little rundown of what it's like to be a pacer. Super rewarding. I highly recommend doing it at least once. Especially if you love marathon running, you half marathon, you don't have to pace a full marathon. I mean, you can pace anything. You can pace, there's 5Ks, 10Ks. Just get out there and help out. I guarantee you it's going to be one of the most rewarding experiences you have as a runner. It gives you a whole different perspective on the race, like other people's abilities, how hard it is for some people versus other people. It's so eye-opening. And as we're coming up this big hill, I am going to wrap this up. I would say, if you've ever thought about being a pacer, please go out and be a pacer. We all need somebody out there helping us out. Everybody needs a little help, a little support. I might only run with a pacer for a mile, 2 miles to get started, and that's okay. Use them from as much as you want, as little as you want. The whole race, 1 mile. It doesn't matter if you can run a 3 hour or a 5 hour. There's a pacer needed for every distance. There's runners that will walk the whole marathon, and what they really need the most is moral support and somebody to talk to. So if you love talking to runners, boom, perfect day for you. Do one and you'll be like, oh, I gotta do another, and then another, and you're gonna find yourself doing a marathon in the fall and the spring. You're gonna go pace a marathon, and then you're gonna have so much fun at the race, you're gonna come back and race it. So, or if there's been a race that you loved, that you ran at, you set a personal best, a pacer helped you at that race, go back and pay it forward. Go be a pacer for somebody else, and then that person might be inspired to be a pacer. Because that happened to me. I helped somebody finish their first marathon at Des Moines. Like 3-4 years later, he comes up to me as a pacer, and he says, hey, you remember me? And I'm like, nope. And he goes, you helped me finish my first marathon. I'm like, I did? And he goes, yeah, right here. I'm like, sweet. I'm like, wait a minute, you're pacing? He goes, yeah, paying it back. That made me feel awesome. If you ever have questions about being a pacer, or suggestions on a race that you might want to pace, or what I've always had a dream of doing, I've always wanted to be somebody's personal pacer, help them qualify for that race, or they can never break a certain time. If it's between really 3 hours, 3.5 hours, somewhere in there, I can do it. I can help you. I can get you to that goal. So, but if you ever have any questions about being a pacer, or just any question in general, or you have some feedback about the channel, I'm gonna throw my email up here. It's enjoytherunchannel@gmail.com. So I can give you some advice. I can tell you about the good races, the bad races. I've, like I said, I've done 30 states, 7 countries, but between training and marathons, I've run hundreds, because, I'm an ultra runner. If you see me at Chicago or Des Moines or some other race that I pick up along the way, Twin Cities, something like that, give me a shout. Come over, say hi. Even if I'm not pacing with you, not running with you, just give me a hi. I would love to meet some people and know that there's somebody out there actually watching these videos. Anything I can help you with, let me know. Until next time, enjoy the run.